favorite series. So my favorite series so far would probably have to be the Pop-Tart series. And so it's my favorite because it's the one that I really think can change people's mindset. Like I said, a lot of it is mindset. And so they started looking at things of like, that can't possibly work for me, and start thinking like, how can I make this work for me? So it was the one that a lot of work was put into, to do all the case studies. There were multiple looks in there. We did the remix section of the videos. So far, that's my favorite one. I know there's a series upcoming that I'm super excited to start. And there are elements of upcoming series that I'm excited about. So we have coming up in newer series where the final episode has what we're calling the grand finale. So I'm really excited for everybody to see the first one of those. I think so far it's still going to be the Pop-Tart series. And I know part of it is because, there's an episode on Queen Bey, essentially Beyonce, who I love, a lot of people love. So I just got to look at her style and fashion and stuff for that particular one. So yeah, still my favorite one so far. So make sure you check that one out. It's my favorite one. So this is a question I get often of why don't I have people in my videos wearing the clothes and showing them wearing it? Well, two reasons. The first one is when I first started out, I just didn't have the budget for it. So I knew I needed the hair and makeup and I needed a model. I didn't want to do it. And so it was just out of necessity that I had to just have just the clothes in there to express my ideas and get my points across. And then later on, it turned out to be a really good thing because I realized a lot of people, thing that stands between them and great style is they think I don't have this body type. She doesn't look like me. Well, she has long hair. Well, she's skinnier. Or she has this skin color. And it's so much impediments to going like, just give something a try. And so when you strip all of that out and people can't no longer use those as excuses for why they can't try something, they start just looking at the clothes and the outfits just by themselves. And so it's like looking at a beautiful piece of furniture or a well-decorated room where you're like, that's beautiful. You don't automatically go like, I can't do that. And so it turned out to be a huge benefit because now people can see the ideas, the clothing, the outfits, why you put things together a certain way without feeling like, well, that's not going to work for me. Like I said, a lot of this is just pure mindset, people thinking, well, I can't do that. I can't wear that color. That will never look good at me. This is only for people that are size 0. And that's not true. And I realized that if you watch certain media, if you follow fashion a little bit, you may think that's who it only applies to, and that's not correct at all. And so now I like doing that because it allows people to be a lot more open to the ideas and concepts and be willing to try things when they see it, just the clothing for itself and the outfit for itself, and go, oh, that's gorgeous. Because I know even when I'm out, people will be like, oh, I love your outfit. I like what you're wearing. And they're like, well, I can never do that, and I usually into my business card and I go, actually you can, and I can show you how to do that. So like I said, it was out of necessity, and now I do it on purpose, and it turned out to be a really great thing because it opened a lot of people up and it's helping a lot of people. And so in the future, I would hope that I could start blending the two, and you'll start seeing a little bit of that with series that are coming up where I'm able to do both. And so in the future, that's what I hope to do. So where do I get my ideas? They come from so many places. A lot of times they come out of just something that I think is a joke, and I start with a title or a concept and it grows from there. So I remember even with the Oat Wheel series, it started because I thought of Hot Wheels and I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, what if there was an oat wheel, like haute couture? And then from there, it was like, oh, then I'll make a wheel and it spins and it lands on things. And even Pop-Tart came out of the idea of wanting women to realize that they can still dress sexy or put different elements in their wardrobe that are sexy. And I was like, who are the sexiest people I know? Oh, these pop stars that wear these outlandish outfits that show a lot of skin. And I came up with the title Pop-Tart, and I just thought it was hilarious. So a lot of times it comes out of a joke. You get suggestions too here on the YouTube channel. We have the suggestion box where you can suggest things. So a lot of you, if a video hasn't been created on your suggestion, it may be because there's a whole series that is coming about that idea. And I know that for one in particular I'm working on right now. Another one's just common questions that I get, and I'm surprised, again, by sometimes people's limited thinking of what works, what doesn't work, what they can do, what they can't do. And so a lot of what I'm trying to do is trying to bust through kind of those assumptions and those limits that people have on themselves and go, like, here's a different way to think about it. So they come from a lot of different places. Like I said, a lot come from you. A lot comes from I hear a joke, or there's one word or one phrase and it kind of jumps off from there. I do have, like, in Evernote, a list of ideas. And a lot of times it's just titles of series and different things. And I just start knocking them off one at a time and going, like, I like this idea right now. I think this is what people really need. Or I'm getting a lot of questions about this, so I'm going to do a series on this. And so that's where it comes from. So a lot of different ideas. Please keep suggesting things because it helps to fuel, the idea factory to come up with those different things. But a lot of different places. And like I said, I love a lot of it. It's funny, it's a joke. Those are my favorite ones. When it starts off that way, it's like, haha, that's kind of funny. Sometimes it's only funny to me. Maybe I only get the joke and you're like, why is she calling it that? But it's hilarious. I'm cracking up at home and you guys just don't get it. So it may be that too. But that's where my ideas come from. And hopefully I'll get new and more ideas from a lot of different places. And the ideas to incorporate into the videos come from so many different sources. I can't even tell you. Like I said, I just have a list of ideas that I keep. I jot stuff down, and it may be a year or so later that I go, oh, I can go back and do this idea that I thought about a long time ago. But that's where it comes from.